Hi, I'm Autumn, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a video about my bookish preferences, the things I like in the books that I read. This is not officially a tag video, but this series of questions was recently done by Merphy on her channel, so I decided to do these questions as well. So the first question is, which perspective or point of view is your favorite, first or third? I would say that I like both pretty much equally. I might like first a little bit better just because I like how it adds to the characters that you're following and getting to see the world and the story through their eyes and being able to see it more intimately that way. But again, I read and enjoy both perspectives almost equally. The next question is, which format is your favorite? Hardback, paperback, ebook, or audiobook? This one, I have a different answer depending on the genre I'm reading. So for fiction, I prefer a physical book. I have no preference of paperback versus hardback. And for nonfiction, I prefer audiobooks. I like being able to sort of listen in the background while I'm doing other things, whereas I can't follow a story as well through audiobook. I like being able to read it and be totally immersed in it. The next question is, do you prefer character or plot-based stories? This is a hard one for me. Again, I like both. I will read and enjoy both. I probably prefer character-based more. I definitely have stories where there's almost no plot at all, and my enjoyment of it is entirely based on the fact that I love the characters and their interactions and their dynamics over the fact that either the book has no plot or a section of the book is just traveling from one place to another and it takes a really long time, but I love the characters enough that it doesn't feel like a long time or like nothing's happening. So I would say characters over plot most of the time. Next question is, do you care about prose? Honestly, I barely notice prose unless it's either extremely good or extremely bad. And otherwise, I don't really notice prose. With a few authors that I've read a ton of books, I start to notice it just because they have certain things that they tend to do over and over again. But it takes a really long time and a lot of books before I will start to notice that about an author. And so it's usually one extreme or another that I will notice. If it lands anywhere in the middle, I don't really notice prose. Next question is, how introspective do you want a character to be? Again, with prose, unless it's to one extreme or another, I don't really notice how introspective a character is. Because I like first-person narration a little bit more than third, I am definitely okay with a character being more introspective than not. But again, unless it's to one extreme or another, I don't really notice a ton. The next question is, what kind of relationships do you prefer, romantic or platonic? I definitely prefer platonic relationships over romantic. I can definitely read entire series and stuff that have no romantic relationship whatsoever and not even notice. I do not care about romantic relationships in books, but I love a good platonic relationship. They are my favorite. Next question is, do you like a lot of description? I do, as long as it's not all at once. I like being able to see the details in the world and getting to know the names of everything and getting the immersion into a story that comes with all the different things being described. Clothes, the buildings, the nature, all the little things. I love that in book. again, if it's not all at once, because if it's all at once, then it's very overwhelming and hard to keep track of. But if it's like sprinkled throughout the story, I love a lot of description. Next question is, do you prefer standalones or series? This one, I definitely prefer series. Once I get attached to characters and worlds, I want to stay in them for as long as possible. And so I love the new adventures with the same characters in the same world, and so I love series, especially long series. Next question is, do you prefer single or multiple point of view? This is another one where I don't necessarily have a preference. I think I read more books that have multiple point of view than I do that only have one, but I don't know that I necessarily prefer it. One problem that I have with multiple point of view is that I often will get attached to whatever is the first point of view that I'm introduced to, and then will take longer to get attached to the second or third or whatever point of view. And I will often have one point of view that I prefer over another, but I still like what a second or third point of view will add to a story. And the last question is, do you prefer a strong start, a strong middle, or a strong finish to the story? This one is really hard to answer because they're all so important to a story. I think I have to agree with Merphy's answer with this, that it's kind of a ranking of strong finish, then strong start, then strong middle. But again, it's very hard to rank that because they're all so important. The ending is important for how you feel about it once you've finished a book, because of course the ending is the last part you read, and so if it's really good or really bad, that can sort of taint your perspective of the rest of the book. But if it doesn't have a strong enough start, it can be hard to get through it. And for me personally, I often get stuck in the middle. I will get halfway through a book and then put it down. And if it's not a strong middle, I'm more likely to do that. But I think I still have to go with a strong finish. So those are my bookish preferences. Let me know in the comments below what yours are.